Welcome to you have one new message. First new message received today at 12:56 p.m.
Elaine, hi, good afternoon. This is Robert Fernandez. My nephew Arthur, I believe, had you give me a phone call. So you can reach me at area code 831-206-2224. And yes, he calls me D.O. Bobby. So anyway, I look forward to talking to you. 831-206-2224. Thanks so much.
Message deleted. You have listened to all messages in your mailbox. To listen to your
Elaine, we're hearing your messages.
change your mailbox busy greeting, press 2 to change.
And if you could share, let me share. I'll leave you alone. Good morning, guys, or afternoon, guys, or whatever it is.
How's it going, Renee?
Hi. There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, it's 101. Let's see if it's going to let me do this. Let's see. Share sound. Okay, well, I'm going to get started because that's what I do. I start on time, and I appreciate and honor those who are here on time. And I know Elaine's having nothing but fun letting people in. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a certified coach and trainer with John Maxwell. And I was looking at some of the videos that we have, and I thought this one was especially appropriate considering today we're going to be talking about accountability. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you before we get started with the thing. So let me thumbs up if you can hear the sound. Okay.
You on your way, right? Yeah, you know I got that big presentation today. I'm right by the door. As soon as you get here, I'll be right out. All right. Man, I wish I was more prepared for this presentation.
So why aren't you? What? More prepared? What'd you have, like 2-3 hours for this?
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, where'd you go? Matter of fact, who are you?
Who am I? I'm the reality fairy.
The reality fairy.
You wished you were more prepared, and poof! Here I am. And where did I go? Well, there was a jet flying overhead. So I popped up there for 1 second to grab you one of these. Now, the reality is, you should have been preparing 3 weeks ago when you found out about this. That way, you would be prepared.
I did.
Did what?
Worked on it 3 weeks ago.
Then you should have been preparing every day, practicing every day, and then you'd be prepared.
Right, I did that.
So what's the problem again?
I hate presenting at the board meetings.
Well, in that case, you might want to take some of these for everyone who's going to have to listen to you. Break a leg.
Oh, you're still here.
So real quick, we're out of queso dip. And unrelated, your toilet's clogged. How'd the presentation go?
Nailed the presentation. Even got a promotion. And I didn't need this.
Well, then my work here is done.
But you really didn't
You are welcome, sir.
Reality is, when you work hard, you grant your own wishes.
So what did you guys think? Pretty cool, huh?
Pretty funny.
It is, yeah. I'm a big one when it comes to accountability. It's and I think probably when I say I'm a big one when it comes to accountability, it's more like taking responsibility for what happens to you. So anyway, be accountable. And being accountable basically talks about, are you a victim or are you accountable? And this is kind of small, and I know you can't see it. What it talks about, oh, isn't that Bethel? What it talks about is, if you're the victim, basically you don't seek reality. It's like, okay, if something happens, then it happened. You don't look to see what may have caused it. You're in denial. You kind of fight reality. I'm reading a book about questions. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's really interesting because there's some people, there have been some people who are blind and will not acknowledge that they're blind. They think that they're just in a dark room and everything else is functioning. It's not like these people are a little off, but they have not acknowledged the reality or accepted the reality that they're blind. The biggest one is they blame. Instead of taking ownership of what happens, it's always someone else's fault. It's always something else happened to me, or I didn't have control over things. Yeah. And one of the things that I think I share a lot when we're doing coaching and that is that if something happens in a transaction or something happens with a seller or whatever, it's on you. And the best thing to do is just say, you know what, I'm sorry, it got away from me or something happened. And then you follow it up with the solution right away. But take ownership of it. Don't say, it's because that other agent's a twit or anything else. You take ownership of it personally, and then you come up with a solution. Personal excuses, nobody told me, it's not my, the job. When someone says it's not my job, to me, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. You know what I mean? It's like, we're all in this together. We do what we need to do to make this happen. And then waits and hopes as opposed to proactively working. As opposed to someone who's accountable. They seek reality. It's what is the situation? What is really going on? And then clarity. This is the way it is. Got it. I'll see what's going on. They acknowledge it. We may not like it, but we acknowledge it. You own it. If it's to be, it's up to me. So in other words, if there's a solution to it, it's yours to find, at that point. You look at all the options, you find a solution, and then you get on with it. You put together an action plan and move forward. So that's the difference of being a victim as opposed to being accountable. It's taking responsibility and understanding and acknowledging cause and effect. I'm sure that most of you will agree that what happens, I don't want to say to you, what happens around you is probably started by something that you did or a decision you made previously. As an example, there was a delay in one of my escrows closing. Okay, now, yes, I could get mad at the lender or get mad at whatever. And, I'm going to say that he had an ownership to it. But part of it was me. Number one, if I had really examined who the lender was, I probably would have questioned at the very beginning whether this was going to happen in a timely fashion. Instead of being really diligent in following up on the timelines, and this happened to me more than it anyway. If things start slipping, you've got to talk to the client and say, look, you know, this is obviously not happening in a timely manner. If we're waiting a month for an appraiser, there's something wrong. I understand that appraisers are backed up, but at this point, if the lender is competent, we can get an appraiser out there in a week or two. And I've seen it done consistently. So again, even though, you know, yes, it was because we were dealing with an incompetent lender, I take ownership for not having been on top of things as much as I should have. Boy, I'm awfully transparent. Elaine's probably going to fire my tushy. Anyway, so the different, being a victim, you don't seek reality. Being accountable, you seek reality. You fight it as opposed to acknowledge. The biggest one is you blame as opposed to owning it. Personal excuses as opposed to finding solutions. I know that there's some people that, you know, if you find something wrong, I don't want to hear about what's wrong. I want to hear about how you're going to fix it. Okay. That's being accountable. That's being an adult. Unless you can find a solution for it, then it doesn't do anybody any good to hear the whining. Okay. And waits and hopes as opposed to getting on with it. So accountability is an attitude and approach. And we're going to see, let's see if this works. I go to the next one. I practice this. And so there we go.
Hi, I'm Gina Roth, and I'm here to talk to you about accountability and what accountability means to me. You know, accountability in all reality is that it's the foundation of your day. And when I wake up in the morning, for me to go work out, if I don't have some kind of accountability, it doesn't happen. And so what do? I have a trainer. I pay him, therefore it forces me to show up and work out early in the morning. We have so much natural ability, and it's get us so far in life. But the reality is, without some structure and some accountability, that allows us to move past our natural tendencies. So for an example on accountability inside of our real estate team is our 411s, which is, you know, our accountability tool that Keller Williams has taught us to use with our team members. And so we find out what are their yearly goals, how can we break that into a monthly goal, and then how can we do that into 4 weeks, each week, moving them towards that. And it's not just about business goals and financial goals, but it's personal goals. I find out what's important to them, they find out what's important to me, and together we grow the business. You know, accountability isn't always roses. You know, sometimes life steps in, and the cool thing about Keller Williams is we really focus on identifying that. We've got the tools to understand when you're heading off the road of accountability and blaming yourself, blaming others, because you're not going to get anywhere. And so that's where accountability steps in. And you can make the decision to step out of that, move forward, get back into the language that's going to move you forward, and use the tools that these perspectives give you. You know, having that and having a plan and focusing back on that is where accountability can totally make a difference, change your life, and quite frankly, change your family's life, your destiny, your legacy.
Okay. So do we have any thoughts or anything? Whoa, I don't want any more. No more. No more. Stop share. Okay, let me go back to my. So are there any thoughts or anything anyone wants to share about what we've done so far? What the hell? Where are you guys? Now you all went away.
No, I'm here. You see me?
I don't see anybody.
I'm here too.
Okay, as long as you guys are, well, good. So we know you can talk. Ornery little thing, aren't I? Okay, let me get back to the sharing screen. Okay, is there any thoughts about that though? What he just talked about? There you guys are.
So you know what? I think for especially new agents, they like clients or everybody should think we are so busy, you know, we get back to emails, texts, phone calls, you know, sometimes. But I think I'm very efficient on that. And I don't care what other people think. I have too much job, too much empty job, like free time or not. I really get back to my WhatsApp text, regular text, messenger text, phone calls, emails, like as fast as I can. I think that should be part of the accountable, because what we do is we promise our clients to our time, you know, that's why
Right,
we're going to
right.
pay for it. So just waiting like 10 minutes, 2 hours, and not replying them, playing that game is not just me. It's not who I am.
Mhm.
I know some people play that game, but I am not playing that game.
Right, and you can't change what other people do. All you can do is work with what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little exercise, and we're gonna do it. You know, if we were live, they have a certain way that they would set this up, but I want you guys to take a couple of minutes and go through this exercise. So think of an issue or a problem you're struggling with right now. And we're going to skip that 2 minutes to complain about the problem, but you know, think about think about, you know, what's going on in that. And then let's do the accountable exercise with it. Okay, does everybody have something they're thinking about, a challenge they have or something? Okay, I want to see. Come on, okay.
My challenge is making sale.
Oh, well, okay.
We all have.
So what was that?
Saying we all have that challenge.
Yeah. Okay, so so how does awareness issue lead to its resolution? So basically what you're all saying is you don't have an escrow, right?
Yeah.
I don't have an escrow. So okay, so now do you acknowledge that you don't have an escrow? Okay, I don't have anything going on right now. Now here's the thing. How will you use your energy and focus to resolve the issue? So it's I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's easy. I mean, we could think, okay, I don't have an escrow. What's going on? Now let's think about some things we can do to get an escrow. Right? I mean, you can sit there and you say, you know, I've been in this business for, you know, 3 months and I haven't gotten an escrow. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's out going on. You know, you can come from that place. But how about looking at what do I need to do to get that? Okay. Now I know May's got an open house this weekend. I know Elsie's just got a new listing. I'm sure she's holding it open this weekend. But the question is, what are you willing to do to get an escrow? Because thinking about it and whining about it, not that you guys are whiners, nobody's a whiner, but thinking about it and being upset about it is not going to solve the problem. What you need to do is figure out what you need to do to solve the problem. And the thing you need to do to solve the problem is, come on, Candace, I know you'll give me the answer. What did you say?
Lead generation.
Well, I'm going to take it even more basic than that.
Accountable.
I would try to gather as much information as possible regarding issues that might come to question while an open house, let's say if we are hosting an open house. So I will be a resource for the people who are coming in and show confidence in what I do so they can trust me and maybe start relationships with them via email if I can get that, or phone calls, or suggesting solutions to things that they're struggling with. You know, just try to accommodate their needs so I can build a relationship.
Okay.
And that's step one, I think, towards something that can grow bigger in the future.
Okay, and that's a great one. Okay, so, you know, be working to become the neighborhood expert. So that when you do have an open house, you know what's happening in your area, you know what's happening in all that. So that's perfectly valid. You know, and basically understand, you know, when May says lead generation, you know, that kind of has this connotation. Talk to people. So tonight, I know that at 5 o'clock, Staff of Life is having a mixer, because remember now, we're open. Things are happening again, okay? So Staff of Life is going to have a mixer in Watsonville. They just opened up in Watsonville. So I went over and I talked to the people from the chamber, and it's like, what can I do? You know, so I'm going to help sell raffle tickets and all that with my badge on. You know, so those are, be around people. So again, okay, so what are the action steps you can take to achieve the solutions and solve the issue? So number 1, open houses. Number 2, study to become the neighborhood expert. Number 3, what's another one we can do?
Talk to other professionals that can help move things along.
Like, okay, so explain that a little further.
Okay, in my case, there's an issue with title, and that has held up placing a house on the market. So we've had to talk to a lawyer and the escrow officer to see if we can have the title redone so we can move forward with placing the house on the market.
Okay, so taking care of issues that could prevent you from doing what you need to do to put that to get into escrow.
Yes.
What are some other steps you could, because again, the issue was, I don't have an escrow, right? That was the issue, or I don't have a sale. So, and you, okay, based on that, you all know the things that you need to do, right?
We can make a mailer and invite the neighbors to
Yes.
the open house. So if they have friends or people that would like, that are interested in that neighborhood, they can invite them to this open house.
Absolutely. So again, I want you guys to think and understand that not having an escrow is a valid concern or issue. The thing is, I want the thing that this accountability talks about, doesn't matter what I want, it's what you guys want. The thing is that we need to get to a place that says, okay, here's the issue. What do I need to do to move it forward? You know, if you go into Elaine's office and say, I don't have an escrow, Elaine's going to say, okay, are you doing the daily 10-4? I remembered it. Are you doing the daily 10-4? Talking to 10 people per day, adding 10 people to your database, sending out 10 notes, and looking at homes, you know, looking at 10 homes a week. You know, are you doing these things? Because if you're not doing them, then you're a victim, right? Oh, I don't have anything going on. Well, are you doing all that you can to do that? Have I beat that little puppy to death? Okay. Okay.
Renee, can
Yes,
you
dear.
speak about that 10-4? Talk 10 people, add 10, okay, right. Handwritten note.
Add 10 people to your database, talk to 10 people, and then write 10 notes. And Elsie, when you're door knocking, I mean, one of the things you want to do is you want to invite them to an open house, and you want to ask them, do you have any friends or family that's wanted to move into this area, number one. And you want to make sure that, you know, the thing is, you know, something like, you know, I've got a listing, you know, I'm the neighborhood expert. What I'd like to do is keep you updated as to what's happening in the neighborhood. I can send you a monthly neighborhood update. Is that something you'd like? You know, so you can keep up with it. Not, is that something like, yeah, you're going to have a yes or no type of question. Is that something you'd like? Well, yeah, well, let me have your email and I will put you on an automatic neighborhood update.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done beating that to death.
I have
Next.
a question.
Sure.
When we have an open house, should we call the neighbors instead of going their home? Should we call the neighbors around the house, like 3, 3, and 10 across the street on the line, right?
I'll
It
tell you
was
what,
the
if you're calling, it should be 20, 20, 50. If you're door knocking, it's a little more difficult.
Okay, let me write down. Door knock.
Yeah. Around an open house, yeah, always door knock.
What was the number for door knock?
For you, May, it's 50, 50, 100. 20, 20, 50. 20, it could be 10, 10, 20. You know, it's just make sure you hit what the number is not as important as making sure you go on both sides and then across the street.
Just
Okay.
listed calls. We said 2020 plus 50. Yeah. Okay, got it. Same thing.
And you're the one you're doing in San Jose. I don't know how long that's been on the market, but you know, that's one thing that like San Jose and Santa Cruz are a lot easier to do the door knocking. You know, if I get in Watsonville but if you start getting into Aptos, sometimes that gets a little, you know, those homes are a little far apart. So
yeah. Well, this neighborhood, I don't know. I never been there. I have no idea about neighborhood, but I'm going to study. But first, I gotta find a babysitter.
Okay, but first, you need to go see the house. I mean, please, guys, never have an open house without seeing the house first.
Yeah, that's a bit of a drive.
Please, please. Okay. So, okay, so I'm going to ask you to give me a quick minute. Okay, I need to take care of something here. Is that okay? Please don't leave me.
Yeah,
Please don't leave me.
take your time. Okay. Who has open house this weekend? What are you guys doing? Here, right. Where are you holding open house?
Going to 235 Mayfair.
Oh, okay, great. It has been on the market for a while.
Yeah.
Denise, what are you doing this weekend?
I don't think I'm doing any open houses this weekend, but I know that Gertrude has one Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'm wondering who's doing those.
Oh, good. Good. I don't know. I have no idea.
No, it's 3 days in a row.
Mm-hmm. So Mayfair, Ryan, milk it well, okay? Have a balloons with the signs. Definitely that gets attention. Study the market. Do you remember the studs I printed out and I showed you?
Yeah.
People never look at them, but have them on the table. It makes you look good, you know, like it makes you studied, you know, you worked for it.
Yep.
Tom Calavoda used to do this thing that was like a 10-year look at the property.
I can't give you this. Let me stop my, I have a few pages. I can give you this, like Denise too. I can leave it actually your folder because I'm gonna go to office anyway. So like this, get open house gift registry. And if I theory the page and you multiply it, you don't need to pay for it then.
Okay, thank you, May. I'm gonna get back to the class, but that was sweet. That's sweet. She's trying to equip you as much as possible for your open houses.
It's KW culture. Help each other.
Yes, it is, my dear. Okay. And, you know, one of the things they talk about is accountability in each of the areas that you want to be successful in. So like Mo Anderson, everybody know who Mo Anderson is?
No.
I do.
Okay. Mo Anderson, thank you. Mo Anderson was the chairman of the board for a long time. She's still, and she's basically our culture icon, okay? She's if you ever get a chance to hear her, she's amazing. She was a teacher in a previous life, and it shows, because she'll look at you and say, darling, I really like you. I really like you. But I'll tell you, your goal was to bring in 5 new agents, and have you done that? Well, darling, we need to do that now. You know, her nickname's the Velvet Hammer. I'm sorry. I don't do very well with accents. So what they're saying, though, is in those areas that you want to become better at, I mean, if you really want to become physically fit, you'll hire a coach, right? You'll hire a physical, you'll hire what is it, personal trainer. If you were really, really serious about wanting to do that, my physical trainer, my trainer is the mirror, the thing that you get there, and that's my trainer. Okay. In business, you need a business coach. You need a spiritual coach if that's something that's important to you, and a financial coach. And I'll tell you that Keller Williams has a couple of really good courses about how to get your finances in order. I think Gary, what's happened is when Gary came back, and he came back about 2 years ago, he realized that a lot of the people that we had been putting on the stage, like at Mega Camp and Family Reunion, that when they were making, they were selling thousands of homes, hundreds of homes, but they weren't profitable. So you're not, what's the use of selling 500, 1,000 homes if you're taking home the same amount of money as I am as a single agent? That doesn't make sense. Let's get rid of all the fluff and just, so there's become a huge focus on financial part of our business. And in fact, I think the latest Think Like a CEO is all about finances, and that's a free podcast with Gary and Jay Papasan. So, I mean, if you're looking at trying to get your finances in order, Keller Williams is the place to be. So again, who are the people in your box? If you want to become a master in something, you need to have a coach. Okay, we're getting close. So being accountable. So this is what I'm striving for with you guys, to have this kind of a conversation, because that's my job, is to hold you accountable to what you want to accomplish, right? So what was your goal? How did you do? How do you feel about it? Based on how you did, what is your goal, and what do we need to do now? And again, a coach will help you figure out what it is you need to do now. But it's like, you have to have a goal weekly, which is your 411, right? How did you do against the 411? How do you feel about how you did? And then what do we do? What do we need to do now to adjust? And the ultimate question is there anything that might keep you from doing that? And if you needed training or support to do this, what might that be? Is there any questions on this screen? Because this screen is pretty much the crux of what accountability and coaching is. I mean, I have a coach. I coach with her every week. I had it this morning at 9:30, and we go through this. Well, this is going to be another one of those fast classes. Okay. We used to have something called the career. Oh no, this is actually 2021, so it's still there. So how are you accountable? The economic thing that I sent out the other day, for you guys that are coaching with me. I don't think there's anyone here that isn't coaching with me. Going the wrong way. Nope, going the wrong way. What we're trying to get to is based on what it is you want to earn. How many appointments do you need to go on? And for those that were on my class that was in the thing yesterday that I went through the economic model, we found that if they wanted to make $100,000 between now and the end of the year, net, they had to do $250,000 worth of business. Okay, because we always think, well, if I make 100,000, well, if you make 100,000, you figure that you have fixed expenses and you have business expenses that go against that. So to make 100, if you make 100,000 gross, you're really only going to net 40,000. That sucks. I mean, that sucks. So to net 250, to net 100,000, you need 250,000. Okay. And we drilled it down. If we did 50% sellers and 50% buyers, based on an average sale of 1.2. Now, again, some of us are not going to do 1.2. But on an average sale of 1.2, you would need to do one appointment every 2 weeks. One seller appointment and one buyer appointment every 2 weeks. Or one buyer appointment 1 week, one seller appointment the next week, one buy, anyway. However you want to do it. But that's what you need, is you need those appointments. That's accounting for the fact that you're not going to get all the listings you go on. That's accounting for the fact that you're not going to get all the buyers into escrow. And in fact, based on what we were doing, 50% of the buyers fell out. Either they got tired of looking, or they went somewhere else, or whatever. So that's what we need to get down to, is understanding how many appointments do I need to meet my goal. And see, the one thing we're missing is to say, okay, I will do everything and anything I can to get that one appointment. I mean, there's some people who will, not go home at night until they've got that appointment, or they, they'll work the weekends if they have to get that one appointment. It's being that driven to the goal. Any ahas? Well, I just sucked the life out of all of you, huh?
I was just thinking about it, like making appointments. I am working, but I'm not making any appointments, so I'm not doing any business.
Are you asking?
I'm not asking. I'm just thinking out loud, I guess.
Right, but the thing is that there needs to be a goal, and again, if you're calling people and you're saying, hey, how's things going? What's up? That's not going to get you real estate business. If you call and you say, hey, just wondering how you doing. Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm just, I've got, one line, as I only work with a limited number of buyers because I want to make sure I give them I give them 100% service, and I happen to have a slot available. Do you know anyone that's looking to buy that would be, that I could actually help? That's a pretty good line, isn't it? That's pretty good. That's a pretty good script. I happen to have, listings. Again, I was on a call with Jason Abrams yesterday, and he did lower before he used to say 80%, 60% of the homeowners out there have no idea what their house is worth. No idea. They hear chatter that says the market's going crazy. homes are flying off the market, blah, blah, blah. But they don't know what that means to them. Hey, so-and-so, hey, best friend of mine, I just started in real estate and I was just wondering, for the heck of it, would you mind if I put together, or how about if I put together for you a market analysis that shows you exactly what your house is worth? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that sounds great, Renee. Can you just mail that to me?
Well, we haven't seen each other in a long time. I'd love to have a cup of coffee with you. How about if I meet you at 10 o'clock for a cup of coffee and we'll go over it? How's that sound?
Oh, so you want to sit down and have an appointment together?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Oh, Elaine's in full gear here. So
Yeah,
again, it's not about mailing shit. It's not about, it's like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's have a cup of coffee and talk about what it means specifically to you that the market's going crazy.
I think that I'm just going to chime in here since
That's okay.
everyone's so quiet and you're talking to yourself.
I do that a lot.
I think that it's like with anything that you do, I'm thinking about Ryan. Ryan gets in an airplane, he flies an airplane. He has to have an end game, right? His end game is to land the plane safely in whatever destination he's going to. So everything that he does while he's flying the plane is about landing the plane safely in the desired location. I had a conversation. I have a virtual assistant. And so I had a conversation with my virtual assistant who just had 2 weeks off because I had 2 weeks off. And what I'm finding is I have 2.5 hours of open time slots available for him to book appointments for me 4 days a week. Now, he's making phone calls, he's building relationships, he's doing all the activities, but he's not booking me any appointments. So I basically told him in a very nice way, you got to fill my appointment slots because I'm paying you to fill my appointment slots and you're not filling my appointment slots. So I can't do my job unless my appointment slots are filled. So I need you to do your job and fill my appointment slots. And those agents that end up in an appointment with me have to understand I'm trying to recruit them. It's not about us just having chit chat. We're going to have chit chat about being in business together. And if they don't understand that when they book an appointment slot with you, then you haven't done your job in booking that appointment. So I had the really hard conversation with him because him not doing his job is preventing me from doing my job. And if I have to get on the phone and fill my own time slots, I don't need him. So I think when you wake up in the morning and you decide this is what my day is going to look like, what is your end game for the day? Is it to book 2 appointments? Is it to talk to 10 people with the intent of booking 2 appointments? I mean, I know Renee has gone over calendaring with you. Say that fast 3 times. And you should be doing lead generation in the morning with the intent of filling those appointment slots. If you haven't filled those appointment slots, then that's more time to do lead generation. Because all of us, and now we can do it, everybody is better face to face, right? Versus on the phone versus Zoom. We all are better face to face. You guys have all, I think, held open houses now that open houses are available. Are you holding the open house with the intent of selling the house? Or are you holding the open house with intent of getting leads that will lead to an appointment? That is the advantage of holding an open house. It's free lead generation. Now, before I worked at KW, I didn't have a game plan when I held an open house. I would bring a book and some magazines and my lunch, and I'd have my drink. I'd find myself a nice little comfortable place in the sun to sit because that makes me happy. Now, I still picked up business from doing that, but I wasn't purposeful and I wasn't intent on what I was doing. So basically, I wasted 4 hours every Saturday and Sunday holding open houses for someone else's listing because I didn't know how to utilize my time correctly because I didn't have an end game. So the accountability piece, I'm going to tie this all back up and then I'll shut up and turn it back to Renee. The accountability piece is what's your end game and how accountable are you to that end game? Because if holding an open house, your end game isn't doing lead generation with the intent of getting a buyer's representation agreement or a listing appointment, then find something else to do for 4 hours a day on a weekend. Does that make sense?
And it's about appointments.
Yeah, you're talking to a lot of people, May, and I know you are. But the end game is I want to be in business with you. I want to help you or someone you know buy and sell a house.
Who do I need to meet with?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, they all know we're realtors. If they don't know you're realtors, then we got a whole different conversation to have. They all know we're realtors. They know that this is what we do for our job. Maybe you can refer them business, which makes them accountable to refer you business. You know, when you help someone, they feel obligated to help you in return.
The law of reciprocity.
Exactly. So I think that's the bigger picture here is what is it that I want? What do I need to do that? And who am I accountable to ultimately? Well, ultimately, you're accountable to yourself and your families. Okay, I'll quit preaching. Any thoughts?
Okay.
You guys are awfully quiet today.
I always try to remember what Laura says. She says, if you're not following up with your leads, why do you have them? What's the point of having them? Like probably with every training sessions she has, I mean, through virtual, of course, I met with her. Almost every time she says that, and it's always like in here, you know, like an earring in my ear, like follow up with the leads. Otherwise, what's the point of them, having them? Yeah, follow up with them. Yeah.
Well, and the thing is,
command like emailing, calling, or lists, smart plans. I am so lost with smart plans because there are so many options. It's getting like overwhelming, you know. I started to put just everybody, neighborhood nurture, everybody, or quarterly call, one or other. I don't do anything else. So I will actually remember those people when it comes to time, and I will decide what to do with their names, you know, like email or call them or whatever.
The bottom line is that the goal is to be in front of people as much as possible. So like what Elaine was talking about, you know, with the open houses and everything else is, you know, if someone says, I'm thinking, you know, I think I will sell my house in a year. I'll tell you what, Mr. Seller, you know, what I'd like to do is come over and meet with you. What I find is most sellers, when they're getting ready to put their house on the market, have some groundwork that needs to be done. What I love to do is come over and walk through the house with you and let you know some of the things that you could do to improve the value of your home. So when you do put it on the market in a year, blah, blah, blah. Again, I want you guys to really think about how I can get in front of people constantly. Because like Elaine says, when you're face to face with someone, things change, the dynamics change, their openness changes. So if they say, well, you know, I'm not really, you know, how about if we have a cup of coffee? You know, have a booth at Starbucks that, you know, people know that on Saturdays and Sundays, you know, Ryan's going to have his little tushy planted on this booth and be talking to people. There's some people who have put on the back of their computer, realtor, and they sit at Starbucks. And people will get in line and they'll get out and they'll say, oh, are you a realtor? Well, what was your first clue? Big realtor sign in the back. Well, how's the market? Well, let me ask you, why are you asking?
Hey, you go grocery shopping, wear your name badge.
I've had more people ask me about real estate when we're grocery shopping.
And
Or,
when
you
you're
know,
in line, now you talk to the person in front of you. Oh, it looks like you're having a barbecue. That's awesome. I'm just stocking up for my open house today. Oh, yeah, I'm a realtor. Yeah, absolutely. Where do you live? Do you own your home? Tell me
And
about
I-
your neighbor. I've never been to your neighborhood. Tell me about your neighborhood. Do you love your neighborhood? They expect us to be super chatty. And I will tell you this fall, and this is across the board, 100%, no matter what you do or where you go, enthusiasm is infectious and people are drawn to it. So if you are passionate and enthusiastic about what you're doing, you're excited about the day, whatever it is, you are a magnet to other people. And I don't know how many of Renee is a John Maxwellite. Well, I'm a Tony Robbins it. So if you have ever seen him, he gets on stage and he goes through all these weird, like big, gigantic movements, and he's doing it to build his energy. So whatever your power pose is before you go in for the kill, do your power pose. Have your moment. Whatever it is, because it will build up your energy and then you can share that goodness. Now, you can't be like crazy frenetic and like spastic because that's off-putting. But just be, Ryan's laughing at me, just be genuinely excited about what you're doing, because it's difficult for anyone that's going to be attracted to you to ignore that.
I remember one agent told me, and I'll never forget this, before she does anything like an open house or a presentation, and this could actually be when you go grocery shopping. She sits there and she goes, okay, it's showtime.
He goes where and says showtime?
Before she does anything, she says,
she's in the public.
Anytime she does anything in public, it's like showtime, you know, because again, you are performing.
Yeah. Ryan, do you have a ritual that you go through, like when you're going to fly? Like, do you have like a little mojo dance or something you do?
Mojo dance.
When I was first learning, I guess I would, but now that I've been doing it for so long, I don't anymore. But I would go through a lot of mental repetitions, like 10 to 15. You know, as you know, I try and stay like 30 seconds ahead of what I'm about to do and just constantly go over it in my head.
So you're telling yourself a story and you're prepping yourself for what you're going to do next, kind of.
Yeah, we call it in the flying community, we call it chair flying, which is probably the same thing as memorizing scripts. So we'd sit there, and in the very beginning, I would write out everything I would do during a 2-hour flight. I'd write out everything I would do, and then I'd read it. Then I'd make changes, and I'd write it again, and I'd read it, and I'd practice it. And then you go out, and when you do it, it's like you've done it 5 times instead of.
So at this point in your career, I'm assuming that that's built muscle memory for you at this point.
Yeah.
So that if something were to happen that's not supposed to happen while you're flying, you're not really thinking about what you're going to do to prevent tragedy. You are going to go on, excuse the pun, autopilot, because you know what to do because you've practiced stuff so many times in your head and in reality.
Yeah, that and the training also kicks in. I mean, the training's slightly different with this. But with flying, I mean, it's like direct training. Like the engine is on fire. Okay, like we know exactly what to do because we've done it in like in a simulator before.
I will tell you, it's not that different, except no one's going to die.
Yeah.
If as realtors we don't do things 100% accurately, but that muscle memory kicks in.
Yeah.
And you know how to overcome objections. You know how to connect with people. You learn how to get buy-in from people. You learn what questions to ask to get people to agree with you, and then you start asking the difficult questions, and now they're used to agreeing with you. Now they're going to agree with you more. So,
it's a game. I mean, I feel like all of us here, we have to, I think the hardest thing for me is to figure out, I know the end game, right? We all have the same end game, but we all have to have our own modified version of that presentation. And I think what I'm trying to do is trying to figure out how can I still be myself and still deliver a productive result and an effective result without being too salesy, right? And I feel like a lot of us don't want to come off too salesy because nothing turns somebody off quicker than somebody that's too salesy.
And it's
Absolutely.
so irritating, like being salesy, cheesy, so irritating.
but you're off if your head can comprehend that you're a business consultant, you're making recommendations and consultations on someone's biggest asset, most likely.
Right.
If you don't have the answers, you have the resources for the answers. You just need to hear the question and be able to understand what the question, because most of the time people ask a question, it's not really the question they're asking, there's more to it. If you ask the good questions to get to the real core of their question and you don't know the answer, it's okay to, I'm sure Renee's coached you guys. Well, that's a great question. Why is that important to you? Now you're digging a little deeper and you're opening up the dialogue, because now suddenly you're on a mission to figure out what it is they're really saying, which makes that conversation more interesting, which makes you more interested. And you're on a hunting expedition to garner that collaborative thought process with that person. That takes you away from being a salesperson and turns you into a consultant. By being able to ask the key questions that get people to help them pull back the layers of the onion for what's really important to them.
Yeah, it sounds like you really know how to. Sounds like you really know how to get somebody into the position where you can just attack with the right question. I think a lot of us are still trying to figure out how to get there.
I'm going to be super transparent with the four of you. Renee already knows this about me. My level of interest in someone else, unless they are interesting, is minimal. It's really, really minimal at this point. I want to know what makes that person tick. And then I get to decide if I want them in my life or not.
Yeah.
So on a mission to find out about people, now I get to dig a little bit. You know, I love to know, like, you know, where people came from, how they, and I was born and raised in Santa Cruz. That's one of my first questions when I meet someone is, how'd you end up in Santa Cruz? Because that's super interesting to me. Because I feel like I never had a choice to be anywhere else but here. So, you know, how'd you end up here? What brought you here? What made you stay? Well, what's your favorite area? You know, where'd you grow up? Why, you know, I'm an only child. Do you have siblings? I think siblings are really interesting because I never had any. You know, so it's, and I love it when I have a preconceived notion about someone and they change my mind. Usually for the better. That really, Renee knows this, that really fuels me. I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea this person had so much depth. That's really interesting to me. So I think if you think of like Barbara Walters, she might be too old for you guys, but Barbara Walters used to do 20/20, and she would ask these questions that looked like they were unrelated and it wasn't going anywhere. And all of a sudden, like this thing happened. And she uncovered this little nugget about this person. And, you know, the next thing you know, they're crying. And it was like, whoa, how the hell did that happen? But that's interesting to me. I live around the corner. I was born and raised here. I just want to see what the neighbors are doing. There's a real reason that person walked in the door that lives around the corner. What's the real reason?
And then if you provide solutions based on the fact that you've asked the questions, when you provide the solution, again, you're not selling, you're providing the solutions to what they've told you are the problems or the challenges or the opportunities that they're looking for. So, every once in a while, you're going to have to, you may need to help them, guide them along. There's some people that'll never make a decision, and maybe you need to help them make a decision. That isn't salesy, that's working for their benefit.
Right.
Yeah, I trust me, I cannot work with engineers. I'm not detailed. I'm big picture. And I know that about myself. I can fake it for a really short period of time, but not for very long. I would be far better off to tell someone, hey, you know what? I'm not your girl, but I can find you the right person. Would you allow me to connect you with an agent who can work and help you? And then most people go, well, no, I want to work with you. Like, well, no, you probably really don't. No, I really do. No, I probably really don't. No, I really do. Okay. Oopsie, shame on you.
And again, go ahead.
Make it fun. It's up until the point in time that the ink is dried on the contract and the money is sitting in escrow. You can't take anything back. But up until that point in time, gamify it, make it fun. Because it is really, really fun.
Can I comment?
Absolutely, else I'll be quiet.
No, I think all the things that you said, they are very interesting and they are doable, but they're doable in certain places and maybe not others. For example, yesterday, I went to meet my sons in San Francisco, went out, had fun, walking the streets, seeing people, chatting, laughing, talking, it's very easy was to get to engage in a conversation from little things, from parking a car, from extending the sidewalk to become part of the restaurant, and so on. It was such an easy experience to engage with other people. Now, I live in San Jose. I am in a neighborhood that I have been 16 years. Some of my neighbors, they are very nice and we talk. Some others, I see them, almost day in, day out. I don't say every day, but I see them very often. And I made sure to say hello or wave while we had COVID, from across the street or something. They look you in the eye and as if you're invisible, they don't even respond, or they don't engage, or they don't, return your hello.
Yeah, those aren't your people. Those people are not your tribe. Don't waste your time.
Well said.
Yeah, but I think locations like in San Jose, it's much more difficult to do the things that you're saying to do, because the people are different criteria, different mindset, much drier, much more private. They don't like that nosy person in the line that's trying to chat with them.
Then they're
Can
not.
I make a comment?
I will take a turn after Elsie.
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead, Elsie.
Hey, Elsie.
Yeah.
You're Italian, right?
I'm what?
Are you Italian?
I'm Greek.
Greek. Oh. I say my grandparents used to belong to the Italian American Heritage Foundation, and I'm sure that would be helpful if you found like a Greek American Heritage Foundation in San Jose.
Yeah.
Well, can you guys hear me at all?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes,
Okay.
Kelly.
So I'm in San Jose as well, and I know what she's talking about. I was born and raised here. But like Elaine was saying, what Elaine's saying, you guys can also use as a seed. Like for me, I'm really into animals. So when I do animal rescue and I do fostering, hey, guess what? I'm going to donate 5% of my commission to this rescue as well. And then when I go work out, right, everything's opening up. You wear your Keller Williams stuff, you wear whatever. I totally agree with you, Elsie. Like San Jose, there's some areas that if you go up to someone and say like, hey, did it, they're going to be like pissed off. It's just, it's like California, New York.
Yeah.
But like, Elaine was saying, you got to find your tribe. Like if you go work out, go do it. If you guys have kids and you guys have a play group, wear your thing, and it doesn't always, I get what you were saying, Ryan, about it always being almost like salesy. You don't want to be too much, but it can come organic. You just have to you almost have to put yourself like out there and doing things. And sometimes, like for me, what I think attracts people to me is I always talk about wanting to donate like 5% or something to a rescue, or, you know, hey, I'm really into giving. What's your favorite rescue? All right, well, what if I donated 5% of my commission after you do a deal with me? I mean, I'm just saying there's creative ways. It's not, I think people are taking it too literal. It's just like, it's a seed that you have to grow and make your own.
Kelly, you just found a new best friend in Elaine, by the way. Elaine is going to be all over you. She's going to.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a little, I'm the crazy dog person, not the crazy cat lady, just so you know.
Yeah, and hey, yeah, and it's great. And you know, once you find those rescue organizations, they know so many people, and there's so many contacts that you can make. I mean, I've had people that I worked with 5 years ago call me and be like, hey, I hear you're doing real estate now. And it's like, oh my God, you know, and it's kind of like what you were saying, which is like, you're almost always working when you're presenting yourself too, and talking to people and looking interested, you know, and it's yeah, so. And I'm sorry,
I talking over here about San Jose. They were talking about yesterday. I was in Pleasanton.
Yeah.
And let me give you just one example for both of your examples, okay?
Yeah.
I went there to visit my friend, 10 years old birthday party. Mom made a wedding for her birthday party. Tables, tablecloths, you know, all, you know, super fancy, super high end. And I didn't know that. I went there with my flip-flops and with my sundress, my hair like this, okay? Didn't have any makeup or anything, but I'm a real estate agent. So I always have a lipstick in my purse, and I had 3 different fragrances in my purse, okay? I showered myself up, I put the lipstick on, and I did my hair. It was exactly like this. And I didn't invent this, but I probably reinvented. Look at this. You do this, and your hair looks like a, you know, something, but looks like much nicer, you know. I don't know. So anyway,
well, the thing is
that
party started, like coming there, party started. I met with the older lady, has 2 twins, 8 years old. How come? Well, baby carriers, you know what they call it, androids or something, you know, another woman carries the baby, something like that. I don't know. I don't know the story
Where are
about
you going with this, May?
Yeah, May. I mean,
there.
this is.
She came to me. She asked me, "Oh, hi. Who are you?" I said, "I am their long life friend. I know them for 12 years. We were pregnant together for our girls, same time. And I live in Santa Cruz, and I'm a real estate agent. Let me give you my card. My card is here behind my phone. Okay." I take it off, and I'm about to give it to her. She goes, "No, no, no." Like literally her, no, thank you. She was like super rude. This is rude, right?
Can I answer can I answer something? Unless it's whatever. You seem to be very personable and out there and stuff. Why don't you talk to people that maybe aren't? Like almost like Elaine, I used to be contractor for Apple.
I will come there.
Yeah. Do you know how many engineers have no social skills, have no idea, and would rather have someone?
She was the wife of the engineer. And listen, she said,
okay,
no,
okay.
Oh, okay, done.
Okay.
And then I met with the other parents, and they are purchasing a home. And I made a really good friend with them. And I told them, instead of buying San Ramon, come to Santa Cruz, because for 1.2 million, you can buy a single family instead of condo.
Okay.
And they were like, oh,
May,
yeah, really?
May.
And I give them my card.
May, hello, May.
Yeah.
So I want to draw a line here. There's a difference between making sure people know you're an agent, and then here's a good example. Okay. Here's a parallel for you. When they opened the Keller Williams office here in Santa Cruz, there was a core group of people that started the office here in Santa Cruz. None of them are with us any longer. They, and I'm going to use the word puked, Keller Williams all over every agent that was in this town that worked at a different brokerage. And if you weren't working here, you were stupid. How can you work there? And when I took the leadership role here, everyone, it was like we were rabid dogs and we were going to bite everyone and kill them. And no one wanted to talk with us. Yeah. So I spent the first 3 years as a team leader not recruiting or selling KW to anyone because they were so sick of hearing KW this, KW that. Here's a book, here's a class, here's a this, here's a that. We do this. You're all idiots. Blah 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 blah. Oh, it was horrible. It was really horrible.
Yeah.
So the point is, you want to make people aware of who you are and what you do, and you want to stop until they ask for more information.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because when you start pushing that on someone, when you push KW on people, people's automatic reaction is, whoa, I didn't ask for that.
I would prefer someone saying that I don't. I would prefer someone saying that they don't want my card than to take my card and tear it up. You know, because that's what she would have done, was take your card and tear it up.
Well, at the moment, at the party, it was just so rude. But then I met with the couple and they were super nice. And actually, really, they asked me a question about market and neighborhood.
Right.
And I made a friend with them.
Okay, and Kelly, where are you out of?
Silicon Keller Williams, Silicon Valley. So I'm with like Ross, all them.
Campbell's Group. Okay, great. I love your passion. And it's clear.
Nice to meet you guys too. Yeah.
And it's clear that when you do talk to people about giving back, it's not about, and see, Ryan, that's just saying, that's the difference, is that when she talks to people about giving back to the whatever it is, I'm not an animal person.
Yeah, no worries.
That she's coming from such a place. It's not about, I want to sell your house. I want to earn some money so I can give some more money to the shelter.
About something you care about.
Yes. You know, that's the difference.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's huge. And you know, if you can find something that you're really passionate about and willing to, you know, that you don't have to, but if you do, I mean, it
creates an automatic rapport with someone because you share a common ground.
Yeah, and you don't even have to do
that. Yeah, it has nothing to do with you doing something for them or them doing something for you. You just have a common ground.
Yes, yeah.
Like literally, if there's a room full of people and there's one dog in the room, I'd rather go sit with the dog.
Me too. And you can also do Monterey Bay Aquarium. I mean, we're such an eco-friendly area in so it doesn't have to be dog, you know, associated. I don't want people just to focus on that. Yes.
A garden project. It could be beach cleanup. It could be, there's a million. Here's what I would tell you. Go on Facebook, type in the search bar something that you really care about. It could be, you know, wine and those wine paint party things or whatever.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Growing cactus plants, whatever it is that you really like. Wow, I really want to learn how to play guitar. I don't know. Type that in the search bar in Facebook. Find a local closed Facebook group. Get yourself invited to the group, and then participate in the group until such time they ask you what you do.
Yeah.
Then you can tell them.
That's great.
I'm in probably 20 closed Facebook groups, and one of the ones that I make my most connections with agents that work at other brokerages, because that's who I'm after, right? Is the Apatosia group. I live in Aptos. Is the Apatosia group and the Santa Cruz Dog Owners group.
You know, and I was just thinking for Ryan, there's an airport in Watsonville. And if you have a friggin' plane, you got some money.
I know. Well, I'm gonna sign up for the flying club in Watsonville. And
you think?
It's all about, I think my approach is going to be building organic relationships. So it's going to be a little bit longer.
That's all it is. I used to belong to a health club. Used to, obviously, but you know, I would talk about real estate. I wouldn't preach it. I wouldn't whatever. I had people following me into the shower. Now, Renee, this is about the you know, it's about building the relationships organically so that when, as you say, Ryan, so when the time comes, there's only one person that they would think about.
Well, and every so often there's going to be an event on a weekend. They're going to say, hey, we want you to come to blah, blah. Oh, I can't. I got to do an open house. Ching, little drop, little reminder.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
reminder. Oh, that's right. I forgot you were a realtor. Yeah.
Go meet-
Go about your business.
Yeah, go meet the guy that's in charge of the airport. I think I know that they're probably going to be having a fly-in soon or next year. Anyway, guys, this has been a phenomenal conversation. Elaine, thank you for your contribution. Again, though, bottom line with the what?
My uninvited contribution.
No, you're always invited to anything that I'm doing. The thing is that remember, it's all about people. It's not about, it's about making the connections. It's about talking to people. It's about, but at the same time, like Elaine said, always have in the back of your mind an end game. Okay, tonight at the mixer, Denise, it's at the Staff Alike, but tonight at the mixer, I'm giving away a raffle prize with Renee Mello and Associates. I mean, people know I'm in real estate with the chamber. I was president of the chamber 4 years ago, so they know. But anyway.
So this is a chamber mixer?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so it wasn't advertised necessarily to the public?
No, it was advertised to those who belong to the chamber.
Chamber, okay.
But anyone's invited, Denise.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hey, look, there's Candace in the real place.
Yay, Candace. Okay, guys. Well, I need to go. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to go do, but I need to go. It has been awesome.
Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Did you guys walk away with some good ideas?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
Don't
Okay.
push
I
too
had an
hard.
aha moment.
Okay, we'll see you later.